everyone, my name is Jacky and today I'm doing my monthly wrap-up. So firstly I do a very short book haul for February, then I'll do my wrap-up and then also very short TBR. Okay, the first book I received in February is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert, and this is the edition that was included in the Fairy Loot Twisted Tales box. And it's about a girl named Alice whose grandmother is an author of fairy tales, and when her grandmother dies and her mother is abducted, it seems like she was abducted by these fairies or mythical creatures, and Alice's only clue is the message "stay away from Hazelwood," and Hazelwood is the estate where her grandmother lived. So yeah, that's this book. The next book I got in February is Harry Potter, A Journey Through a History of Magic. This is one of the British Library books for the exhibition. And yeah, it's just full of pictures of different exhibits. And the last book I got in February is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertelli. This is about Simon, who is gay, and one day someone reads his messages to a boy named Blue and blackmails him. And I've heard a lot about this book because it's all over the internet, because there will be a movie and it's said to be very good, so now I'm going to do my wrap-up. So a lot of the books I've read this month I don't own a physical copy of, so I will put the covers either up here or here, I don't know yet. Okay, the first book I read was a German edition. The German edition is called Eine Woche für die Ewigkeit, and the original title is You Know Me Well. It's by David Levithan and Nina LaCour, and it's about Mark and Kate, who are both gay and have problems with their relationships, and they meet in San Francisco during the Gay Pride Week, and the book tells a story about this week and how they help each other with their relationships. So while their relationships don't always make sense, I really enjoyed reading this book. I really liked it. I read it in one sitting and I enjoyed it very much, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is called Töte mich by Amélie Nothomb. She is a French author, so I know the original title but I can't pronounce it, so I will write it down here so that you know it. It's kind of a retelling of the story of Agamemnon and his daughter Iphigenia. I don't know how to pronounce it in English, sorry. It's very fairy tale-esque. It's about Count Neville and his daughter. And his daughter wants to die, and the Count gets this prophecy that he will kill a guest at his party, and his daughter wants him to kill her because she doesn't want to live anymore. Yeah, and I very much like Amélie Nothomb's writing style. It's always it's beautiful, it's very fairy tale-esque, and it's also a very short book. And I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read, I actually own a copy of. It is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This was the book in the January Fairy Loot box. This book is so hyped and I totally get it. I love this book from beginning to end. It's about Jude and her sisters, and they get kidnapped and brought to Fairyland. And Jude wants to be a part of Fairyland and gain the respect of the other fairies. It's a lot about politics. There is a little bit romance, but not really on the other side. Holly Black describes these fairies very well, because in many books that I read and that I really loved, the fairies are kind of romanticized. They always say they aren't humans, they're different from humans, but the fairies that we get to know in the other books, they're always very much like humans. And these are not. They're not humans, they're cruel, but they still have most of the same emotions as we do, and I think Holly Black describes this really well in this book, and I loved it very much. Also, it is just a very beautiful book with the illustrations at the beginning of each chapter, or each book. And I also very much love this map. So I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, and I can't wait to read the next one. Another book I don't own a physical copy of is The Cover by Robin Rowe. The original title is A List of Cages. It's about Julian, who just got into high school, and there he meets again his former foster brother Adam. And Julian is an outsider with other kids. He has no friends, but Adam wants to be his friends, and he gets him to spend time with all of his other friends too. And it's about them reconnecting, and about Adam's life and about Julian's life, very much about Julian's life, because Julian's parents are dead and he lives with his uncle, and it's just the whole situation and why he was in foster care and isn't now. And I can't really say much about it without spoiling the book, but I really loved this book. I was really touched by this book. I was crying while reading this book. It made me so sad. It really broke my heart. So yeah, I would totally recommend reading it if you don't have a problem with crying while reading. And I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. I'm reading all of Cassandra Clare's book for Emma Books Read-O-Rama. I can't really give you a synopsis of City of Ashes. Boring book. Because I don't want to spoil you, but the Mortal Instruments series is about a girl named Clary who gets thrown into the world of shadow hunters. And there are the shadow hunters, of course, who hunt demons. And then there are also werewolves and vampires and fairies and warlocks. The first book is about her getting to know this world, and then there's also, of course, a bad guy who is Valentine. And yeah, you have to read for yourself. In this book we get to know the characters a little better, but we also get to know some new characters. I enjoyed reading it quite well in this edition. I already read it in German quite a few times, and I didn't really like it. I like the original versions way better, but still City of Ashes is surely not my favorite book. Still a very good book, but not my favorite Mortal Instruments book. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is called Rock'n' Love by Theresa Sporer. She is a German author, so this book is only available in German, and I think also only in ebook. And it's about a girl named Emily who goes to a private school in Austria. But her dad has to work very hard for her to go there, so she doesn't have that much money as everyone else. So to have some money for herself, she also has a band. And in this band she calls herself Amelie. And her biggest fear is that someone from her school recognizes her, even though she looks very different when she is on stage. But then there's Sean Nixon, and he recognizes her. Even though they never spoke to each other in school, he recognizes her, and after that it's just their love story. While it's a very sweet story to read, there are a lot of scenes that doesn't really make sense to me, because there are some where he treats her very badly, and she always is so thinking, so he kind of is odd, but no, wait, I hate him. So I don't get it, yeah. So that's a problem. But on the other hand, the author wrote this book when she was 17, so we kind of have to cut her some slack, yeah. But despite these problems, I read it very quickly and I enjoyed it. I laughed a lot in the scenes, about a lot of scenes when I wasn't like cringing because I was so, what, why, how, yeah. So because I read it very quickly and had kind of fun with it, but still it's not, I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is Wie man es vermasselt by George Watsky. The original title is How to Ruin Everything. And this is not a novel, it's 13 essays about his life. And I enjoyed reading them. They're quite funny, but I'm not really into essays or short stories. That's just not, because I don't know how to talk about them, and I I need one story. I can't tell you if I liked one story, but many stories. Maybe I liked some and I liked others not, so how can I tell you if I liked the book, yeah? So I can't really say much about this book, sadly, but I enjoyed reading them, so I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is also a very, very overhyped book. I don't think it's overhyped because I liked it very much. And it is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I love John Green. I love his books, all of them. So, Turtles All the Way Down, although most of you probably know, is about a girl named Ava who has OCD. And she reconnects with an old childhood friend of hers, who is called Davis Pickett, and his father, who is a billionaire, I don't know. He disappears and the police looks for him. And they would get a very high reward if they found him. So Ava and her best friend want to find him, but instead Ava reconnects with Davis, and most of the book is actually more about her trying to live with her with OCD and not about looking for this guy. But still, it's a very great book. I love how it's written, how it's described. It's kind of terrifying being in Ava's mind, but it's made very, very well. And it's an own voices novel, so I think he knows what he's writing about. And I enjoyed it very, very much. Before I forget it, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is Palast der Finsternis by Steffen Bachmann. I hope you pronounce it like that. The original title is A Drop of Night. And it's about a group of teenagers who get the opportunity to discover an underground palace of the late 18th century. But instead they're trapped down there and they try to find their way out, but they're hunted by the people who brought them there. And they're also hunted by whatever lives in this palace, and there are traps everywhere and they die nearly every time they walk into a new room. So it's not about them discovering this palace. While I don't think that the conclusion really makes that much sense, the book is quite good. It has you on the edge because there's seriously no time to pause or take a breath, because every time they escape from one trap, they're immediately running into the next one. And I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is called Sweet Occupation by Lizzie Doran, and it's a kind of a documentary but still a novel, because she talked to some people who are part of the group Combatants for Peace, who want peace without violence in Israel, and they're part of both sides in there. And all of the men she talked to were in prison for some time, either because they didn't want to fight or because they're called terrorists. Even though they not always were terrorists, it's just what they were called by the people who put them into prison. She talks to them over a year, and the book is just her speaking with them and learning a lot about them, and it's about prejudice and fear and war. It's a very important book, I think. It's a very moving book, but it's also not really that easy to understand if you don't know anything about the war there. So I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. The last book I finished in February is Besuch aus Australien. You could translate it to visit from Australia, but it doesn't really work because they play with the title in the book, so I can't really explain it. But it's a very funny book, it's a very short book with lots of pictures. It's a satirical book about a boy named Dave who comes from Australia to Germany for a few weeks to live with another family and go to school here, but this boy is a crocodile. And it's about being different and them living together and learning new things from the other one. And it's funny. It's making fun of everything and everyone. It's just funny. But I don't really am into satirical books. At least I wasn't into this one. And I didn't even was that thrilled with the pictures. So I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, so that are all the books I read in February, and now I'm talking about my TBR. I normally don't have a TBR because I'm very much a mood reader, but on Saturday the 3rd, so yesterday, when you will be able to watch this video, Read by Zoe hosts a 24-hour readathon called Read-O-Rama by Zoe, in which I want to participate. And on the same day starts Read-O-Rama, which will last for 1 week, which means till the Friday next week. And these have themes for the books to read, so I needed a TBR for these books and I wanted to share them with you. Since this video will probably already be very long, I will make this very short and don't give a synopsis to the books. The first challenge is read 7 books, so I don't really have a book for this one, but when I'm finished there will be more than 7 books on my TBR. The next challenge is read a book with R-A-M-A in the title or the author, and I kind of cheat on this challenge because I want to read City of Glass by Cassandra Clare, which definitely doesn't have all the letters in the title, but if we count the title of the series, The Mortal Instruments, then it has all the letters, so I'm counting this and read this for the second challenge. The next challenge is read a LGBTQIA+ book, for which I will read Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertelli. The next challenge is read a book published in spring. For this I'm going to read The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead. Challenge number 5 is read a new to you author, for which I will be reading The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. The next book I'm going to read is The Inexplicable Logic of My Life by Benjamin Eliora Sands. I will read it in German, where the title is Die unerklärliche Logik meines Lebens. And the last challenge is read a host's pick, and I decided to read the book picked by April, which is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. This is the edition made by Mina Lima, which is very beautiful. So, as you see, now we have 6 books, so I have 2 more. If I can read all of them, 8 books. First book is Das Leben nach Bo by Neil Smith. The original title is just Bo or Boo, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. This is a borrowed book and also a new to me author. And then I also have Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste. I have no idea how to pronounce this name. Yeah, I also will read this in the German edition, where the title is Kleine Feuer überall. It's the same as in English. And this also is a new to me author and a borrowed book. So that's very heavy, are all the books I'm going to try to read in the next week. I will make a reading vlog over this week and will be uploading it hopefully next Sunday. That's everything for today. If you are also participating either in the 24-hour readathon or in the Read-O-Rama readathon, please let me know and let me know what you're going to read or what you read in February, and yeah, let's just talk about it. So see you next time. Bye!